Good morning, good morning, good morning, everybody. Rise and shine, rise and shine. My voice got a little rest, little rest, little rest. But anyway, life goes on. So it is the fourth day of Black History Month, and I told y'all I'm gonna be extra blackety black, black, black this month. And yeah, I meant that. So today I want to talk about the political sphere. Yesterday there's been so much ruckus about the Iowa caucus, and all I'm gonna say is I agree with everybody else, and it's about time that that thing dies because it's outdated. It does not represent America. Definitely doesn't represent the Democratic Party or any party, especially since 4% of Iowa's population is black, but they represent 26% of the of overall incarcerated black people. The other thing is the Iowa caucus is again outdated because we don't have 13 colonies anymore, people. We have a whole 50 states plus some US territories. Let's explain why we're still using something so antiquated to determine our political landscape and our political leaders. Chew on that. But today I want to talk about some black political pioneers. And I remember, she was the first to run for president, and this one, and the first female presidential candidate. Lies. Y'all don't know about Shirley Chisholm. So let's go on and get into it. Okay. And yes, I'm starting with the great Shirley Chisholm because, she's a sister. She's a sister. And so we gonna get into it. So Shirley Chisholm, she was born in 1924, if you don't know. And I am actually looking at the Women's History Museum. And she was actually just so phenomenal. She was the first African-American black woman in Congress, and that was in 1968. So yeah, y'all, I'm going all over the place. I was in the 1800s. We up in here in 1900s, but trust me, I'm going even further back. Just give me a minute. But I wanted to start with the sister. Okay. So Shirley, she was also the first African-American woman, like I said, to be elected to Congress in 1968. She was the first woman and African-American to seek the nomination for the president of the United States from one of the two major political parties. That was in 1972. I'm going to read that again. The first woman and African-American black person to seek the nomination for the president of the United States of America, and that was in 1972. So stop all this talking about, this was the first woman to run and seek, the nomination for the presidency. No, Shirley Chisholm was in 1972. 72. That means there are people still alive who can tell you probably what the pulse of America felt like during that time. I would love to talk to some of those people. Her motto and title of her autobiography, Unbossed and Unbought. I love it. I love it. I love it. She served 7 terms in the U.S. House of Representatives. She is a native of Brooklyn, New York. And she's the oldest of 4 daughters to immigrant parents. So all y'all that got these arguments about immigrants, I'm just going to let you marinate on that. Yeah, she felt like, and this is encouraging to someone. Even though she had people telling her to pursue politics in the beginning, she didn't feel like she would be successful because she felt like she had a double handicap being black and female. And I can tell you right now, as a black female, I feel the same way sometimes, but baby, sometimes you got to steamroll and make your own path and do, and make it do what it do for you. And I applaud her and women like her who are pioneers. And that's why I really wanted to start with her, just to kind of share with you some things about her life and her philosophy. And again, just to let you know who the first was. Stop all of this listening to what, no, because we don't know our history. We can't learn and grow from it. So, yeah, she's the co-founder of the National Women's Political Caucus in 1971. In 1977, she became the first Black woman and second woman ever to serve on the powerful House Rules Committee. She paved the way for a lot of the people that are currently serving, especially when I say a lot of people, a lot of Blacks, African Americans who are in politics today. You know, so here are some of the challenges. And before I move on to some other people, here's some challenges that she faced. Discrimination. We already know this, but I'm just saying it. In her 1972 Democratic Party presidential nomination, that's all she experienced was discrimination. She was blocked from participating in televised primary debates, and after taking legal action, was permitted to make just one speech. Even though she experienced that, she still got some traction. And if you've ever heard the Chisholm Trail, that's what it came from. And she entered 12 primaries and garnered 152 of the delegates' votes. That's 10% of the total. Despite an underfinanced campaign and contentiousness from the predominantly male Congressional Black Caucus. Sisters, don't let nothing stop you, because you don't know where it can lead. And one of her things that she wanted to, one of her legacy kind of quotes is that she wanted to be remembered as a woman who dared to be a catalyst of change. And I really believe that she was just that, a catalyst for change. But again, she was a pioneer, just a pioneer. And I believe that some, although they may not say it, a lot of Black women, especially those in Congress, draw from Shirley Chisholm. Something to take y'all back to the 1800s, to Hiram Revels. I've written about him in some of my books, none that are published yet, but it's coming. And he's the first African American to serve in Congress as a Republican senator representing the state of Mississippi. Okay. Black pioneers in politics. Okay, PBS Pinchback, and I am on the Washington Post now. PBS Pinchback, the first African-American to serve as a state governor. He became lieutenant governor of Louisiana in 1871 and served as governor for 36 days, but it still counts. Listen, I don't care how short your reign is. Make it count. 36 days is a long time to be able to make a difference, especially in the 1800s. He served as governor while the current governor was under impeachment proceedings. Just saying, anything is possible, John Mercer Langston, the first African-American lawyer in Ohio. He won a seat in the U.S. House of Representatives, becoming the first African-American to win a congressional election in the state of Virginia. Y'all are paying attention to a lot of these states, because a lot of these states have some issues. Ralph Bunche, a Nobel Prize winning academic and UN diplomat. He was a peacekeeper in the Middle East, Africa, and the Mediterranean. He won the Nobel Peace Prize in 1950 and was the first African American to receive the Nobel Peace Prize. But y'all didn't know about all this. Carl B. Stokes, was the first African American to be elected mayor of a major city, Cleveland, in 1967. Who was the first African-American cabinet member? Robert C. Weaver, under President Lyndon B. Johnson. He was Secretary of Housing and Urban Development, HUD, in 1966. You cannot learn and grow from your history if you don't know what's in your history. Just a little something. So I'm sharing some more stuff with you. Patricia Roberts Harris, come on, another sister. 1977, she became the first African-American woman to hold a cabinet position. She was also the first African-American woman to serve as a U.S. ambassador to Luxembourg in 1965 and head of law school at Howard University in 1969. Okay, just so y'all know, just so y'all know. So again, you can't grow from your history if you don't know what's in your history. So that's today's Black History Month training talk from me. Black political pioneers. Again, there's so many that paved the way for a lot of who we see in politics today that we can learn from. And they may never say that they draw from people, especially a lot of these women may never say that they draw from Shirley Chisholm, but if there wasn't a Shirley Chisholm, there's always a if there wasn't. You might be that person that needs to be a pioneer for somebody else. You don't know what ground you could be breaking up for somebody else. Shirley Chisholm, like she said, she was like double handicapped, Black and a woman. But she pushed through in Congress, made it, ran for president, pushed through that racism, but still pioneering, still making a difference, paving the way for others to feel like, you know what, I can do that too. When we say representation matters, this is what we're talking about. You know, there's a lot going on. It's not just a buzzword or a phrase. Representation matters. It matters when I can see myself reflected in somebody of authority, somebody of influence. I can be more than somebody's athlete. I'm not knocking athletics, but we tend to put Black people, minorities in this cubicle that this is where you belong and no further. You go this close, but no further. And that's nothing but further from the truth. You know, we probably never would have thought that we would have had an African-American president, but we ended up with Barack Obama. Like him or not, this is not about whether you liked him or his policies. Representation matters. It matters if we have someone who owns a major sports team. What's a major team? A team in the NFL, a team in the NBA, a hockey league team. National Hockey League exists. Right now we got soccer is huge here. David Beckham, his stadium is almost finished here in Broward. But owning a major soccer team, you know, go beyond that. But when you see representation in that, people succeeding in that stuff, it makes a difference and it makes you feel like you can do it too. That's what I mean by representation matters. And we have Black quarterbacks excelling like Lamar Jackson. Shout out to Lamar, a Redeemanite, by the way. But when you have that, it makes a difference. And I love how these kids were coming out and saying, you know what, what they were saying was basically representation matters, because I can see myself as a quarterback. You know, I can see myself as a Heisman Trophy winner. I can see myself rising above even circumstances and excelling, even when all of the odds are stacked against you. Representation matters, you know, to see a Denzel holding an Oscar, the highest form, you know what I mean, of award, it, you know, or even just to see somebody that looks like me excelling on the silver screen. Representation matters. And so sharing with you about Shirley Chisholm and Hiram Revels and all these people lets you know, if politics is what you desire, It don't matter if you black, got 4 shades on midnight purple to your skin, light bright. If you a male, female, trans, whatever, there's opportunity for you. Representation matters. These people paved the way. They blazed some trails. And you owe it to yourself to be just as successful and to become somebody that's reflective of the next generation. So they know I can do it too. I did it because I learned from the people that went before me. So that's all I got for you guys today. I hope you learned something about this Black History Month fact, talking about Black political pioneers. Have a fantastic day. Love and light.